Broadcasting with an old Commodore 64 from the abandoned Long John Silver's behind the abandoned Pizza Hut on Center Avenue in Bay City, Michigan. It's Everything, Anything, and Nothing Really with your hosts, Eric Walensky and Matthew Maynard. Good evening, listener land. My name's Eric.
My name is Matt.
And good evening to you, Matt.
Hello, Eric.
We have got a great show lined up today. We have, as our musical guest this week, the Grouper Cheeks. My buddy Sean works for Full Sail University, and him and a bunch of his friends who work for the university formed a band during this COVID pandemic in their little bit of an off time there, and they came up with a song called Social Distance. It's a fun little twist on a love song. You know, Matt, this will be our fourth episode with a musical guest, and you know what it's really making me miss?
What's that?
Karaoke.
Ah, yes, you are crazy for karaoke. Get you into a place where they're doing karaoke, and you'll never get you out of there.
Not at all. And I've been missing it. You know, bars have been shut down, and the social distance and all that stuff, but. You know, you and I have had a couple of fun karaoke instances over the lifespan of our shows, huh?
Well, the thing about you and karaoke, and I mean, I've been to enough places with you where you're doing karaoke, is that you always go for the songs that nobody else in their right mind would sing at karaoke.
Well, that's definitely my MO. I like to mix it up.
I mean, you're the one that's like, Surrey with the fringe on top. And you're up there, chicks and ducks and everybody's like, what? What's going on? And there's some little old lady in the front row really into it. And then you're just singing directly to her.
Well, that's exactly the kind of musical choice that got us canceled one time. You remember that? Me, you, and Rose were at the Carlton Bar?
I kind of remember that.
Well, I sang Surrey with the Fringe on Top to a crowd of you, Rose, and a bunch of locals who wanted none of it.
No, they...
So then Rose gets up there, follows that up with some other very obscure show tune that the locals wanted no part of. So I go put in another song, and I wait, and I wait. And I wait. And I wait. And other people are singing, but they're singing, like, you know, the basic stuff. Nobody's going for the weird stuff. So then I go up there and I go, hey, how many times till I come up? And the DJ looks right at me and says, I've been told by the locals they don't want to hear your crap.
You know you're in the Midwest when show tunes? What's that? Rogers and Hammerst what?
You're going to sing show tunes in here. You better be singing Hello Dolly or get out.
We only like Frank Lesser songs in here.
We had another fun little time at the Carlton Bar with the karaoke that wasn't karaoke.
That was interesting. I remember we went into the bar and there was an older gentleman with curly white hair and a younger woman in kind of a long skirt, and they were singing together. They were singing duets and they were singing over and over again. There were books on the table, so you could pick which song you would want to sing. So you went up there and this was in July, I believe, and you
yes,
sang.
Yes, it was.
And you sang Jingle Bell Rock. While the man stood by looking horrified.
Well, first I requested it, remember? and I put it in, and then he is like, and here's another song, and he started to sing it. And I was like, no. And I went up there and I talked to him and he goes, oh, well, I guess Eric wants to sing this one.
And when you got back to the table, you said, as I started to sing, the man leaned in and said, "This isn't really karaoke."
Yes.
And you were like, what could that mean? This isn't karaoke.
But it had all the appearances of karaoke. It was books on the tables and unprofessional singing. There was no thing that said, like, it just said that he was a DJ, and I'm like, well, this is karaoke, cool.
Right.
And he's like, well, here's a weird twist. Eric wants to sing in the middle of my show.
And at the end, he's like, I think Eric's a little confused about what time of the year it is. Tell he was a little put out.
And I was like, and I think you're a little confused as to what your act is, pal. This is
So
karaoke.
I think it was the next night or something. We were back like very shortly after that. And the next night, I think it was, we were asking the bartender, what is it with that guy? He told us this wasn't karaoke. And she said, yeah, I know. He bought a karaoke machine and he goes around to bars doing concerts.
And I smashed right into the middle of it. I also remember I dedicated Jingle Bell Rock to all the ladies. Yeah, well, my style has not changed over the years. I was just at some karaoke before all this craziness with the pandemic started, and I decided to sing "Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald."
Always a good one for karaoke.
Yeah, a 6.5 minute long ballad about sailors who died. That gets them on the dance floor. So
That's like the time that my friend and I put $20 in a jukebox and played nothing but Mitch Miller songs in a divey bar. And when people came in and heard, "My Bonnie lies over the ocean," they looked around like they were in the wrong bar. And then when Hava Nagila came on, they really didn't know what to do. And eventually somebody came over and just unplugged the jukebox. So happens a lot when I go into bars. I have a tendency to just go into a bar, play about 10 Lawrence Welk songs in a row, and then leave.
You're good for business. After ordering only a water.
You can tell how much I've been missing during the pandemic.
Yeah, after I got off the stage, my buddy Brian was in the crowd, and I walked up to the table. He just looks at me and goes, "Well, that was a thing." Then this drunk guy comes up to me, and this is what I found the best, is he starts telling me, that was a real ship. I was like, yeah, I know. It's Edmund Fitzgerald. It sank up in Lake Superior. Yeah, I'm from Ohio, and I know all about it. He proceeds to tell me for 10 minutes his memory of the Edmund Fitzgerald, which was basically the same 4 facts over and over and over. He was so drunk. I managed to disengage from him, but it was just so funny, though, because he's like, that was a real ship. Because then it was a couple weeks later at another karaoke bar, completely different karaoke bar, I sang Sink the Bismarck by Johnny Horton.
Okay.
And after I got off the stage with that one, a guy comes up to me and says, it's a real ship, don't you? And I'm like, yeah, the song just explained all of it. And then he's like, are you being sarcastic? And I was like, no, I understand. It's a real ship. He's like, yeah, it's a real ship. And he's mad that I don't know why. Like, he thought he was telling me something. The best part, though, he goes up later that night. No kidding. He sings Copacabana. As soon as he gets off the stage, I rush up to him and did my best drunken, that's a real bar, don't you? And then he's like, of course course I do. It's in New York City. And I go, yeah, it was in New York City. That's a real bar. And I do all of the exact same things he did with the Bismarck about Copacabana. And he gets so mad at me. He went over to his wife. I went back to my table, and I can hear him over there. And the wife is like, "What was he talking about?" Like you could see her like ask the question, and he points over at my table, and I hear, "Telling me it's a real club." Well, I know that. Best reaction to Sink the Bismarck I've ever had.
Oh man, gotta get some open air groups together so you can do karaoke concerts and have
Yes.
people stand 6 feet
Yes.
apart with masks on.
Yes. And to that end, I decided to go onto Facebook and just look and see if there were any karaoke groups
Uh huh.
out there. And there's hundreds, literally hundreds. And I didn't find any that pertain particular to the Bay City area, but I did find one that was called Corona Karaoke.
Okay.
And it's basically just online karaoke where people are just they join the group and they post videos of themselves singing. That's all it is. And I guess it's because everybody's at home right now and they've got time during the corona to just sit around and make karaoke songs
Mm-hmm.
because just yesterday the first post of the day was, "Hey folks, we're changing the name to get rid of that word corona and think about the future of this group." So, like, what, somebody realized tying a global pandemic to your fun Facebook group wasn't a good idea? I think we're losing people right now with this.
We don't want it all to be about illness.
I scrolled through it just to see who was posting, and
Mm-hmm.
no kidding, I must have went through 30 different videos. I didn't watch them all. I just like it's got the thumbnail of who's singing. Probably about 30 different videos, and 25 of them were middle-aged men. No real comment on that, except that's who was on this group. Was a whole bunch of middle-aged men, and two of those middle-aged men were Elvis impersonators.
Oh.
And one, I guess technically wasn't a man, but he was a 7-year-old boy dressed in a World War One army uniform. I'm not making this up. Singing about being lonely in the military. It definitely caught my attention. I'm like, what kind of uniform is that? Anyway, he sang like a little kid. It wasn't super impressive, but it was just what?
Oh my goodness.
One of the other guys who was singing, basically, he was just advertising himself as a entertainer for hire. So again, probably a non-karaoke guy.
Uh-huh.
But the thing that caught my eye was on his little post there, he had a blurb where he said he's a multi-award winning entertainer. And I was like, how vague is that? Multi-award winning? It's like he might as well say, I'm a consecutive compliment getter. I'm a consistently applauded performer.
Oh, wow.
I have lots of certificates that say I have participated.
Doggone it, people like me.
Just to be funny, I wanted to see what other weird Facebook groups are out there. I Googled I hate karaoke to see what would come up. And I ended up getting a karaoke page for a town in Canada, Medicine Hat Karaoke.
Yeah?
That's all there was to it. It was just about the local karaoke in Medicine Hat.
Oh.
But I typed in, I hate karaoke, and Facebook basically said, well, you got nothing you hate. We got something with a hat in it. How's that? Was that good?
One letter off. Is that pretty good?
Thanks, Facebook.
There are some really weird Facebook groups out there.
Oh, yeah.
I found one the other day. There's a group called Walter Mondale is My Hero. Now, for you millennials out there, because we always seem to explain who the joke, so let me explain. Walter Mondale was Vice President of the United States from 1977 to 1981 and the Democratic nominee for president in 1984. He won 13 electoral votes. So, anyway, there's a group on Facebook called Walter Mondale is My Hero. And the last posts seem to be from about 2008. And one post from 2008 says, I happened to meet Walter Mondale in the 1960s when he was Attorney General of Minnesota. Walter is still my hero, not to the level of Marx or Stalin, mind you, but a personal hero nonetheless.
Well, can anybody really soar to the heights of a Stalin?
So then a month before that, there's a post by somebody named Louis Mondale, and he writes, the man is a straight-up G. Trust me, I know him pretty well. I'm guessing this is his grandson? Straight-up G meaning straight-up grandpa, I'm guessing? I don't know.
A hardcore grandpa.
That site has not had any posts since 2009.
When everybody gave up. Interesting. I found a Facebook group called A Group Where We Bless Each Other After Sneezing. I'm not making this up. This is a private group, though. It's not even public. This is a private group. And all I could read was, we unfortunately live in a world where not everyone is blessed enough to receive a blessing after they sneeze. The purpose of this group is to raise awareness about the topic and hopefully come up with a helpful alternative. Please post incidents encountered involving the sneeze problem. And bless your fellow members if they have sneezed and need a blessing. 249 members.
Oh, wow. How would you like that coming up in your feed every day? Like, oh, somebody else sneezed, gotta bless them.
I know, but it's a private group. We don't want anybody in here messing up our sneezing. I tried to think of other really weird things that I could Google to see if, or not Google, Facebook. Do you call it Facebooking? I don't know what the term is. But I searched for as many weird things as I could, and I thought, are mermaids real?
Oh.
I thought that might be fun. And no kidding, there's a Facebook group called Mermaids Are Real. I have found gold. Public group, so I was able to see a whole bunch of different posts. One post, like after I scrolled through like 6 or 7, maybe 8 posts, there's just one that says, are mermaids real? Yes, you're in the Mermaids Are Real. After that, I found a post, I wish to hunt a mermaid. Can I find one here? Somebody replied to that and said, you can't kill a mermaid. The original poster replied and said, yes, I can.
See, this is why you should have turned that one private. Keep the mermaid killers out of the mermaid group.
Somebody wrote a post, I've written a series of mermaid adventure novels. I'd like to advertise on this site without being too commercial. Here's the artwork for books 1 and 2. Somebody commented, it's hard to find a good mermaid book. I will check these out. Somebody just flat out wrote, I want to be a friend of a mermaid. Nobody commented on that. Now, if Mondale had some weirdos, this mermaid group.
It turns out the mermaid group and the Mondale group are the same people.
They're run by the same.
Louis Mondale shows up and like, I think Uncle Walter thinks that mermaids are pretty real. Geraldine Ferraro for vice president. Mermaid all the way.
While I was on mermaids, completely related to it, and this took the cake for me. This is a different group, though. It's called The Good News, Mermaids Are Real. The bad news, they are now extinct. Thanks, BP. It was started on June 5th, 2010, with a SpongeBob SquarePants joke. Like the TV show SpongeBob SquarePants, it starts off, "Are you ready, kids? Who's the something, something, something?" And it's this whole theme song. This starts off with, "Are you ready, kids? Who died in an oil spill because of BP? SpongeBob SquarePants!" So like I said, it started in 2010. June 12th. When you order fish at a restaurant, it now has two choices, regular or unleaded. Share this with your friends. June 13th. How many BP engineers does it take to stop an oil leak? I don't know. I'll let you know when they stop it. There's not another post until August 12th, 2011. The guy says, the BP oil spill is old news. It died off, just like the thousands of fish it killed. Come on, let's learn to never forgive and forget. Share this with your friends. Not another post until May 30th, 2012. And it's just a picture of a sunset over the ocean. The last post, January 16th, 2013. Win a Canon or Lexmark printer with borrowlenses.com.
We went into another business, folks.
This is hilarious. Somebody was like all on a thing about BP, and then after 7 days, gave up.
Well, and not only that, about BP destroying all the mermaids. You know, I never told you, Eric. I met a mermaid once.
No.
I was at Lake Superior, and she came up to me and said, "You know, the Edmund Fitzgerald's real? It's down there."
I know it's real. I was just singing about it.
And then I killed her. Somebody told me I couldn't. I did.
Nobody tells you what to do.
No, not when it comes to mermaids. Then she told me the Copacabana was real. I don't know how she knew that, but
that didn't make any sense.
No, but oh well. You know, the thing about Facebook is just way too many groups about cats.
Oh boy.
And I'm not even going to go into some of these. I'll just give you the titles, and you can just use your imagination. This cat is giving him the old razzle dazzle. That's the name of a group. There's one group called This Cat is Innocent of All Charges.
Oh.
There's one group I found, and it's called Cats Without Gods. Just
What? All those godless kittens and cats out there?
Because, you know, it's not enough to enjoy cats. You got to mix two things, cats and religion, to really make it, you know. The description of that group, Cats Without Gods, is a group where people can share and discuss pictures and articles about cats, which may or may not also be about atheism or religion.
Oh, how many pictures are there like that?
The basic intent of this group is to be a place where non-religious people who love cats will be comfortable and can enjoy their love of cats.
Can't people who believe in God and don't believe in God get along with just their shared love of cats? I've never been like, oh, wow, I love your dog. I don't believe in God. Oh, well, get that thing out of here.
Oh, I'm very uncomfortable. This is a Presbyterian cat lover, and I don't understand. I don't know who thought that that was a good idea.
Your calico hasn't been baptized? Get out of here.
Well, cats hate water, so
So I guess no cats have been baptized, really. Or if they have, it's a terrible
it
experience.
traumatized them. Yes.
Maybe that's why they don't have gods, because they were baptized and they're like, no, that was terrible. I don't want to believe in a god that would make me go through that. I would have never thought that Cats Without Gods would be a Facebook group. Until I decided, just to be funny, I keep saying Google. I didn't Google this. I Facebooked it. I Facebooked crayons are the best, just to be funny. It is a group with only 2 members. It was made in 2010. There were only 2 posts, and one of them is just a Wikipedia entry describing all the colors of crayons. That's it. Crayons are the best. 2 members, 2 posts, and then it just fell apart. I guess crayon members just aren't as dedicated as Mondale, so I guess. I found another odd one, and I didn't search for this. It just came up in this just long scrolling through different groups. I bet I can find 100 people who think ninjas are better than vampires.
Did they?
Nope, 18 members.
Well, that's not as bad as a group I found that was called "Let's Get 1 Million People to Support Don Rickles Hosting SNL."
How many?
The last post was from March 15th, 2012. Okay, we hit 200. We're almost there.
Well, I think the ninjas are better than vampires. They're only 82 away. Either that or they just changed their name. I bet I can find 18 people who think ninjas are better than vampires. Another vampire group I found was, I want to be a vampire, but I can't find any.
Well, that happens with mermaids, too.
Exactly! The very first post on that I found was, are vampires even possible? I was like, see the mermaid page! And what's really funny is all these weird groups that I've talked about, they've almost all of them started in 2010 and then fizzled by 2011. It's like everybody was high on Facebook in 2010, and it's like, we're starting a group. This is awesome. And then it just fell apart.
Yeah, what happened in 2012 that everything fell apart?
I don't know. The world didn't end like it was supposed to.
No, I know. The Mayans were wrong.
Yeah, I'm wondering if they goofed up and they meant 2020.
Good Lord.
Let's ask one of those cats.
I don't know. I don't believe in God. No. I found a group called Sister Wives, and then in parentheses, Sailing Women's Group.
It's a sailing women's group?
That's right. In the description it says, "This isn't a polygamous group, and we don't care about your religion." I call it Sister Wives because it is a place for us to chat about setting sail with our significant others and to discuss our fears, concerns, joys, and share stories with one another. And I'm thinking, so she chose the name Sister Wives and then only later realized that there might be some polygamous meaning or religious meaning to it, and starts out with a big disclaimer. Can you imagine if every Facebook group started out with that? This isn't a polygamous group!
Well, how did once she learned that, like she's like, it's Sister Wives, it's a sailing group. How many polygamy messages did she get before she had to look it up and go, okay, I need to put a disclaimer on this? And then why stand firm with the name? Why yell at other people for like taking the exact definition of her group and going with it?
Yeah.
I'm going to start a Facebook group called Man on Man. It's about basketball defense. I don't care what your religion is. This is a place to chat about basketball defense. I'm going to start a Facebook group called Polygamous Connotations. It's about women who love sailing. I don't care what your religion is.
It's like, if she was at a bar standing up talking about polygamy and somebody came up and said, I'm a polygamist, and then she whispered, this isn't really a polygamy thing. It's karaoke. Well, it's not really that. It's sailing.
I'm going to start a Facebook group called I Don't Care What Your Religion Is, and it's going to be about a polygamous sailing group.
Well, before we get to the grouper cheeks, I just want to remind everybody we are on Facebook. Everything, Anything, and Nothing Really. We're on Podbean, and we're on YouTube and iTunes. And tell all your friends about it. Share this with your friends. And also share it with your enemies.
But do not share it with our enemies.
But please share it with Walter Mondale.
I mean, he's our hero.
He is kind of a hero. I mean, the man is straight up G.
So, folks, we teased it out at the beginning, and it's time to hear the song by the Grouper Cheeks. Once again, my buddy Sean works for Full Sail University, and he and a group of 9 other people who work for Full Sail got together. They're from all over the country. They now reside in Florida, and they formed a band during this COVID pandemic, and they wrote a song called Social Distance. They used it to raise money for charity, and to date, they've raised $20,000 for Music Cares. So if you hear this song and you like this song, you can find it at thegroupercheeks.com. That's TheGrouperCheeks.com. The Grouper Cheeks, as in the fish grouper. Proceeds for the sale of their song will go to Music Cares. And at the very least, you can say you bought a fun little song. So, for Everything, Anything, and Nothing Really, my name's Eric.
And I am Matt.
And here's Social Distance by the Grouper Cheeks.
Something, and this time I don't wanna get it wrong. I wait to tell you how much I love you in a world of fear that's upside down. So here I give you my best attempt to keep you filled with hope. Time so strange, just to help us cope. I'm gonna keep my social distance from you, but it's the last special gift of time. Sick of being so far apart, doing the best I can. Tell the world that I'm by your side. We're alongside them. I'm gonna keep my social distance from you. It's the last thing I ever wanted to do. And if this helps make us stronger, hold on a little longer. Nothing else will keep me from you. It's hot, cold, real, so surreal. Stand up, I'm gonna keep my social distance from you. Here's the last thing I ever wanted to do. I'm gonna keep my social distance from you. It's the last thing I ever wanted to do. If this love cannot be measured, soon we'll be together. Nothing else can keep me from you. I'm gonna keep my social distance from you. It's the last thing I ever wanted to do. And if it's gonna make us stronger, hold on a little longer. I'm gonna keep my social distance from you. Here's the last thing I ever wanted to do.
Hey, we're trying to find 1,000,000 people who think ninjas are better than vampires. How many we got?
200! Close!